following podcast is recorded and produced by the Podcast Precinct in affiliation with the network at bicbp-radio.com. The Podcast Precinct. Consistency, creativity, culture.
The Nostalgia Funhouse proudly dedicates all episodes in the loving memory of Connie Chirac. So, Johnny, I've been hearing really great things about this Nostalgia Funhouse. It just brings back so many great memories.
Andrew, the only reason I'm moving in line with you here is that you really vouched for this show. So I'm just going to believe you that this is the show that, I've been wanting, which is just talking about all the fun stuff from our yesteryear and the years before. And I really hate anything meta. So I'm glad that what we're doing right now is not that.
Oh, no, definitely. What is meta? Isn't that Ron Artest's new name?
Well, add world and peace to it, sure.
Yeah, but this is great. They last year they were tearing play sets and Halloween costumes.
Well, that sounds cool.
They get these weird court recordings from pop culture courts.
Does anybody care about court cases?
These ones are kind of cool. They put Scott Kelvin on trial. Poor old Santa Claus there.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds interesting.
Yeah, man. You know what's the best part about this is though? Is I hear they always got a really great sponsor. You can check it out right there.
More.
We're in the Muppet Test Kitchen. The Swedish chef is making his delicious star-shaped cereal, new Crunchy Stars, with cinnamon toast taste.
Crunchy Stars.
Scrumptious Crunchy Stars, part of this nutritious breakfast.
Scrumptious.
Crunchy Stars, great taste from Post and the Swedish chef.
It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet your podcasters on the Nostalgia Funhouse tonight. That's right. He's Andrew. I'm Johnny. And we're here on the Nostalgia Funhouse. Second episode of Jim Henson Month, Andrew.
Yes.
What are we doing today?
We were supposed to be doing Sesame Street, but
Oh, yeah, I forgot we did say that, but that did not happen. Why does that not happen, Andrew?
because HBO Max decided not to have every season of Sesame Street on there.
Yeah, because Max is, for all the fun stuff they have on there, they also decided that they get to gatekeep anything you want to watch. So,
Yeah. I noticed I've been rewatching Family Ties, and I watched on Paramount Plus, and I was like, oh, sweet, I'll watch this. And then I could only get to they only had 3 seasons. And I'm like, why is there only 3 seasons? And then all of a sudden I found out that if you go to Pluto TV, they have them all. I'm like, well, why does Pluto have them,
that's so weird.
but not Paramount Plus?
That's very odd. I was the fantastic show Mountain Monsters, which has become my obsession. I started listening to this podcast, and it talks all about it. That's really good, by the way. They're called Big Feats. Highly recommend them. But they would constantly say there's 8 seasons with the 9th one on the way. And I looked on Max because that's where they're at. It was there's only 3 seasons here. And I was like, why are they doing that? And it's because for whatever reason, they jumbled multiple seasons into quote unquote season 1.
Oh, they did that.
Yeah, I don't know why they did that, but hey, check out Mountain Monsters if you want to see the most absurd Bigfoot related thing since Harry and the Hendersons, but with way worse acting.
So I was looking at this, and actually not all the episodes of the Muppet Show are on Disney Plus.
Oh, which ones are missing?
So 3 if you live outside of the United States. So if you live in the UK, you don't get the John Denver episode. Don't know why, but you don't get Brooke Shields, and that's because they were saying probably something with the music licensing.
Yeah.
And then the other one is some British actor that got in some trouble with some how do they say it on YouTube? CP.
Constipation?
Child.
Oh. I was way off.
I'm just gonna keep on repeating it.
Child. Yeah, I got you. That is That is if you look through the episodes of the Muppet Show, it is like it's a time capsule of its time for sure.
Yeah.
Of the guests that are on there, but it really runs the gamut of people I never had heard of to Sylvester Stallone.
I've heard a lot of these.
Most of them I have heard of.
I would like to. Oh, sorry.
I was just gonna say, but like on our, we're doing the top 10 according to IMDb, the top 10 most highly rated ones, and like two of these people I had not heard of.
Really?
Yeah, and
I heard of everyone but one.
well, we'll get to them once we get to them. I'll tell you the ones I hadn't heard of.
I want to go back, and I just want to do 5 each because as I was looking through, and I was looking at the guest stars, and I was like, I really want to know if this was really the best or they just looked at, because there are some that some episodes where I'm like, oh man, I would have loved to have watched that one and
yeah,
seen that one. Like, how is Dom DeLuise not in the top 10?
How's Don Knotts not in the top 10?
That was the other one. I was like, Dom DeLuise, no.
Yeah. All right, let's get to it because we got 10 episodes to cover here.
Yep. Okay, so our first one is Gilda Radner. And this is off of Screen Rant, and they ranked them according to IMDb. They gave this episode an 8.4, and the reason why is Gilda was a welcome addition to her episode, because this is season 3, episode 4. From start to finish, her most memorable scene is the Muppets Lab with 2 of Jim Henson's most iconic, Bunsen beaker. It involves a disaster with super glue. That's pretty much.
Yeah, and that's a running theme throughout it is people get stuck together, which is very fun.
It is fun.
Let's first talk about this theme song is one of my all-time favorite theme songs. It's so catchy. It stays in your head, and I love that every time at the end it's a different little gag with Gonzo.
Yes.
So that's very, very fun. Also, on another show that me and you do, I said a word on there that I didn't know you weren't supposed to say anymore, and Kermit says it all the time on this one. Because the first thing is about, I don't even know if I can even say it, but the native people who usually live in igloos.
Oh yeah, you can't. Yeah, you're not supposed to say it anymore.
Yeah,
you never lived that close to the Canadian border.
That's true. That's true.
So I can't hold it against you because we
have a future episode though where Disney puts a little disclaimer in the front. They did not do that here.
Yeah, and I could see why. But it was like a little like, So my big things were there was a lot of wordplay. Like she thought that she was going to be on the Muffin Show.
Yeah.
That was kind of.
Oh, what do you? I guess let's Gilda Radner, of course. I remember her from Saturday Night Live.
Rosanna Dana.
Yeah.
So I had high hopes for this one.
Yeah, me too.
The 7-foot carrot when she needed a 7-foot parrot.
Yeah.
I also liked it when she was hanging off the cliff, and the guy
Miss Piggy. Yeah.
Guy was supposed to come in to help her. Yeah, it was Miss Piggy, but it was and the guy was like, "Hey, those are nice boots. I know you. You're from Gary's Boom Boom Room." And he teach him how to.
What is Gary's Boom Boom Room?
Yeah. Well, it's the 70s. We don't know. we have. I could give you an idea, but we don't.
Yeah, but we don't know.
And then the glue gag, and those were only like my really big kind of like highlights out of this one. And other than that, I didn't find anything too awesome before, not to spoil what I gave it. And we're ranking these out of 5.
Yeah, here are my notes. Besides Kermit saying that E word, I thought the musical number while snowing was actually pretty great and impressive if you think about it. Everything going into that. That dancing carrot didn't have arms, and for some reason that really bugged me. Because he's still wearing a suit, but he didn't have arms.
Okay.
It kind of threw me off a little bit. And I had a great thought. Why didn't we ever get like either a TV show or a movie that was just like a Miss Piggy martial arts action movie?
I don't know.
I'd love that. That'd be fun. That'd be really fun. And the running glue gag I thought was also very fun. But overall, I thought this was kind of a mid episode.
I gave it a 2.5.
I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I really liked that opening number. It really helped a lot for me on this one.
Next up is Bernadette Peters, who I looked up and still looks as wonderful as ever.
This is one of the people I did not know.
Okay, so I learned about Bernadette Peters because she's in The Jerk.
I've seen that, so I've definitely seen her before then.
She's married to Steve Martin in The Jerk.
Oh, okay.
She's also
yes.
done some other things as well. So pretty much why they were talking about this one is because this one's got a little bit more of an enduring storyline around Kermit's nephew Robin and how he's been ignored. And then how she cheers him up.
Here, I'll go with my notes first, and then we'll alternate like that. Robin wanting to run away is a really great running theme through this. Really sweet, endearing thing that actually does pay off at the end, I felt. I really enjoyed the running gag of Miss Piggy really hating that mouse.
Oh, Miss Mousy?
Miss Mousy.
I was just thinking about that. I was like, damn it, what episode was Miss Mousy on?
Yes, this one. This one. But I really loved that song where Bernadette and the gang start singing to Robin. I actually was like, I got a little misty out of that. I was like, I really liked that. So I thought this episode was a lot better than the previous one. What about you?
I did too. I like the shoe jokes, like the little shoe punny jokes there.
Yeah.
I also love when they told the story of the grasshopper and the ant.
Yes, because there's a switch at the end that you don't see coming.
Yeah, the grasshopper drives to Florida and the ant gets I thought the music was better in this one. I gave it a 3 out of 5.
I gave this one a 4 out of 5.
So now we're gonna move over to Madeline Kahn. Madeline Kahn.
I can't hear Kahn and not think Star Trek.
I yelled it at Walmart one time when the new action figures came out.
Yeah,
I just saw them and I was like, Kahn.
Every time I got the Funko Bob of Kahn, and every time I see him, I do that.
So this is pretty much Gonzo falls in love with her.
Yes.
Before Camilla the chicken. And that's pretty much the storyline is that as well. So I do like the opening with Sam the Eagle, and he's like,
me too.
He's like Madeline, Miss Madeline Kahn, you cannot do this show. You are a wonderful actress. You don't need to be subjected to this stuff.
There's a running gag throughout the Muppet Show with Sam the Eagle where he actually openly disdains the show that he's on. And I really love that.
Oh, this is also episode 2, or I'm sorry, season 2, episode 9. The Bernard's death was season 2, episode 12. So back to Madeline Kahn. And then all of a sudden she turns around and she's got the classic glasses with the nose and the mustache. And he's like, oh, I stand corrected.
Yeah, it's very good.
Pigs in Space, because it's one of my all-time favorite Atari games. And then I like the musical number, or the number, kind of like the skit that she did with the monster and how he just destroyed everything. And then she was like, reduce the problems by paying him.
Yeah, it actually had a really deep meaning to it. Yeah.
I really like that. Those were kind of like my big time notes for this one.
I agreed. Great opening with Sam the Eagle. That first song Madeline sings is she's really in defeat. Like she's very much in defeat. A little bit too much, some would say. I really enjoyed, well, I did Swedish stuff anyway, but I really enjoyed him trying to cook out lobsters, but the other lobsters came in and saved the lobster. I really love that. Gonzo having a crush on Madeline, it makes sense to me. I like that scene where he felt like he had to tell Miss Piggy.
Oh yeah, and she's like, I don't care.
Yeah. And I also really love those TV news reporter segments. Those are very fun.
Yes.
And she friend zoned Gonzo so fast.
Yeah.
She was quick to put a stop to that. But I really like this episode too. This is also got a 4 out of 5 for me.
I noticed after the Gilda Radner one, they kind of have like a little bit of a theme to each one, where I didn't feel like the Gilda Radner one kind of had the
Yeah,
theme.
the Radner one was a little bit more all over the place. Yeah.
All right. Up next is Peter Sellers. So this is
I had high hopes for this one.
I did too. This is season 2, episode 19.
This is the one that starts with your Disney giving you a little warning about offensive stereotypes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe what I saw at first. So I wasn't quite sure. So I left. I started another episode just so I could restart this episode so I could see it again. And I looked it up, and I guess on a lot of stuff they do put this on there, which I understand, but then I don't understand, if that makes any sense.
All right. I think when people, this is just my opinion, I think when people bring up hating the wokeness, I get it because it can be very annoying. I don't consider myself quote unquote woke. I consider myself that I care about other people's feelings. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So if somebody does not want to be labeled as something because they feel it unjustly stereotypes them, I'm going to try to learn from that and not use that term. It's no big deal. It shouldn't be that hard for me to not use that term. Because I don't really feel like being responsible for hurting people's feelings because it sucks when you are, in my opinion.
So you remember Inuits.
Yes. That's the word I couldn't think of. So I did look up what's the other term we're supposed to use for this, and it's, I feel like I'm pronouncing a Rome, something like that.
Oh, yeah, Romanian or Romy. There's
a term that they prefer.
Those.
But basically, if you ever seen the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and what Esmeralda, what she was considered, that's what we're going with here. But the whole first song was all about that.
Yeah, and he did kind of say demonic gypsy too. Did you hear?
Yeah. Oh, but then you just go ahead and drop that G word, Andrew, like it's nothing.
Oh, sorry. Well, then Cher's got a problem too.
A lot of people. Well, I mean, also remember this is from the 70s, first of all. Yeah. And me and you are products of the 80s and 90s. Please remember that. Because I never thought this word was a bad word either for the longest time. Esmeralda rocked.
But they say it. But TLC had a show called My Big Fat Gypsy Wedding. I'm not lying. My wife used to watch it constantly, and they would call up. Oh my goodness, the dressmaker. I can't remember what her name was, but that's the woman that they called up every single time. And I wonder if TLC's got some explaining to do.
And by the way, I really like this song.
Yes. And but Peter Sellers was it's because of he's the Pink Panther, right?
Yes, yeah.
The Pink Panther.
The original Pink Panther movies was him.
And the comic or the comedic thing, and then his wider range of costumes and stuff. I did like the opening with Gonzo throwing the knives.
Yes.
And Scooter saying, "Hey, you got like 15 seconds," and he's like, "I don't even know if I got that." And Gonzo still throwing there. And I like the song at the end. Those were kind of like my highlights of it.
Yes. Everything you said. Also, have a note here that Peter Sellers is just really good at doing character work.
Yes.
And you can tell, like, a running theme through this show, I will say, for the positive of it is from what I can tell, the guest stars were having a great time.
Yeah.
Which really comes through. You really need that to happen. And this also gets a very iconic song of Kermit singing about being green. Everybody knows the song. It's not easy being green. So even just based on that, this gets pretty high ratings for me. But Andrew, I think it's because I had such high hopes for this one.
What did you give it?
I gave this a 3.5 out of 5.
I gave it a 3 out of 5. So
yeah, I think we're kind of on the same wavelength on that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I was high hopes for Peter Sellers as well.
I tell you what, though, I'm very excited to talk about this next one.
Yes, this is oh my goodness, childhood crush right here, because I used to watch the reruns of Wonder Woman on FX.
Yes.
Oh
yes.
Linda, after we were like, oh, we don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but not be woke, as we're just But is Linda Carter?
Linda Carter, stunning lady.
Yes. This is season 4, episode 19. I was gonna say, didn't I just say episode 19? But yep. So this one's more of like superhero type stuff as well, which was really great because everybody's learning how to be a superhero because she is Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
And the human sacrifice thing was like, whoa. But it was a good song, and it kind of played into the theme where you don't say the god's name, or the alligator or crocodile is going to eat you. But I did like all the superhero stuff there.
Yeah, I agree. Again, we have another great Sam thing where he hates the show.
Yes.
Really love that. And everyone wanting to be a superhero is very fun. And a running thing throughout this whole show, too, is they really have some pretty fun effects on this. The whole thing with Wonder Pig and the giant chicken, I really loved.
Mm-hmm.
That was really great. And again, I want to know, Linda Carter looks like she's having a great time doing this show.
Yeah. I haven't seen anybody kind of have a bad time doing it.
I think it's kind of hard to have a bad time when you got Kermit and Fozzie Bear and Gonzo and Miss Piggy running around. But I really like this one, Andrew. I gave this a 4 out of 5.
I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
There we go.
I'm not going to say where that extra 0.5 came from.
No, I know where it came from.
Oh, Linda Carter. Next up is Alice Cooper. So this one is as well performing some of his hits. He brilliantly revealed himself to be working for the devil backstage. That's kind of like the thing. And going after Kermit and then Gonzo's soul per se.
Yeah.
Like the opening in this one when Scooter came in and he's like, Mr. Cooper, those aren't our monsters. And he's like, I know, they're mine. And that was kind of the cool thing. And I can't believe they did so much. Like they talked about like the devil stuff because there's
a lot of Satan mentioning in this. Yeah.
Yeah. Wasn't this during the Satanic Panic also?
I mean, it had to be near there, right?
Time?
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that. I did like him singing "Welcome to My Nightmare." Sam Eagle did some stuff once again, and I like the contract where Kermit was going to sign it to become a rock star because he wanted to be a rock star, and then he was like, "Well, maybe I want to become an astronaut." And Alice Cooper's like, "Just cross it off." But an astronaut, you can just do whatever you want.
Yes.
Gonzo's about to sign it, but I do like the gag at the end where Gonzo comes up after everything.
This is my favorite part of the whole show. Yeah.
And Kermit's like, "Is that the contract with the devil?" And he's like, and Gonzo goes, "No, it's the bill for the special effects."
Yeah, like, no, it's even worse. Yeah, that's my favorite joke in the whole thing. Yeah, Cooper working for Satan makes sense.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. I'm always going to love a Halloween themed episode of something, and that really helps here. And I had a note before I got to that last part where this has just some really fun special effects here.
That transparent ghost.
Yes, was great. Yes. But there's one one of my notes just says Alice Cooper really wants to have sex with that one Muppet. He really and then my last note, of course, was that special effects build joke was great. I really love that joke.
That was the perfect ending for this show.
Yeah, yes, it was fantastic. This got a 4.5 out of 5 for me.
Me as well. And then next up,
the next up is probably the most famous episode, I would say, of this show.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna. It speaks for itself. I'm not even gonna read the thing up there. It's Star Wars. Mark Hamill, and the cast of most of the cast of Star Wars. This is season 4, episode 17, and this starts out great because you think it's Angus McGonagall.
Yeah, it's just another Muppet.
Yeah, is going to be the host, but then who comes crashing through the wall but Luke Skywalker and C-3PO and R2-D2.
Yeah, oh man. Could you imagine if you're a kid and you see that? Like, how happy are you? This is like two of my favorite things as a kid crossing over. pure joy for me.
I liked. I remember when C-3PO and R2-D2 were on Sesame Street, and I was like, Luke.
Yes.
I was
Yeah.
like, how are they on Sesame Street? But they're there because they're searching for Chewbacca because he was captured by weird turkeys.
Yes.
That's what. And they were like, why wouldn't he be here?
Yeah.
Kermit
Kermit was like, it does sound like our show. Yeah, you're right.
I do like at one point when Luke's running around yelling, remember Alderaan?
Yeah,
Down with,
yes.
down with the Empire. I think you see a lot more Mark Hamill
Yes.
fun as Luke Skywalker than Luke Skywalker. And I like it. Fozzie not a big fan of I can't even talk of Luke Skywalker, but he is a big fan of Mark Hamill, who is come to find out Luke Skywalker's cousin. Everybody.
Yeah. Wow, what a coincidence. Yeah. Great entrance from Star Wars here. Like you said. Mark Hamill is just so good.
Yeah.
He's just so good. Man, he was awesome in this. I like how they have little details too, like they keep going back to Scooter trying to play that guitar, and if you look in the background, he's got a Luke Skywalker poster.
Yes.
I love that. And one of my notes is like, this is just pure fun. Gonzo as Darth Nader is fantastic. And the Muppets and Star Wars singing When You Wish Upon a Star.
You got that?
Decades before they both become Disney property is insane.
I put that down. I was like, foreshadowing?
I was like, what? My jaw dropped because I'd forgotten about that.
Also,
go ahead.
Oh, also was the other Luke's wearing his Bespin fatigues, as they call them in the toys.
And everybody wants to know where he got it from.
And he wants to know where he gets them from, but this is also before The Empire Strikes Back was released.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. This is between A New Hope and that one.
Yeah.
I give this a 5 out of 5, Andrew. This is fantastic.
It's Star Wars.
It's this episode of the Muppet Show is leaps and bounds better than any of the Acolyte that I've seen so far.
Thank you. That's why I asked you guys. I was like,
yeah, because I at least had a good time here, and it made sense overall, despite its zaniness.
I think because you knew what you were going to get.
Yeah.
Oh, and why did Chewbacca have his bandolier?
I know he looked kind of naked, didn't he?
Yeah, like I was like, put on some clothes, Chewbacca.
Yeah, that's some decency. Well, I guess Kermit's running around.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, we followed Star Wars up with another banger, in my opinion.
Vincent Price, season 1, episode 19. I was a little upset that I guess in season 1 there's no like kind of cold opening or anything. But if you know Vincent Price, he is like a horror scary movie, like probably.
I guarantee you've heard his voice. 13, iconic voice.
13 Ghosts to Scooby-Doo, and I do believe he was on The Simpsons at one point.
Yes. Fantastic. I'll give my notes first. Yeah. One of the most iconic voices ever. We actually get for a minute that Kermit, we thought he was murdered because he gets eaten.
Yeah, everybody gets eten. The first,
Miss Piggy gets eaten later on, and then Kermit gets eaten again. Another fun episode of Halloween with great special effects.
It was silly. It was silly and creepy at the same time. Like when
which is perfect.
And then when they do they do so many good gags that didn't seem like bad. The only gag that I felt like was overdone that I didn't like was out of all these was the glue thing with Gilda Radner. But I liked when they went into the hotel in Transylvania and he's like, my horse got a flat tire. And then, goes, I'm traveling with my beautiful assistant and like an angry monster and an ugly monster. And then the dragon character comes in and Fozzie's like, oh my goodness, you are right. You are with an ugly monster. He's like, what are you talking about? This is my beautiful assistant.
Yeah. I do have a big question though. There's one toward the end of this episode. Kermit and Vincent Price are just having a conversation, and Kermit's like, "Hey, how do you're in all these horror movies? How do you do it?" And then he acts like he's a vampire, right? Vincent Price does, and then Kermit goes, "Oh, me too," and he has vampire teeth, and then he bites
Oh yeah,
Vincent Price. So I submit to you, does that mean Vincent Price becomes a frog?
a frog.
A vampire frog, right?
Yeah,
Sign me up for that movie.
I was trying to see what he did after 13 Ghosts of Scooby Doo, and he was the voice of Edgar Allan Poe in Tiny Toons.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh man, that's great. But this was a 5 out of 5 for me.
I gave it a 3.75 out of 5.
Well, that's been very distinct
I
here.
thought it was good. I think I gave it so low now that I'm looking back on it because I was coming off of the high of the Star Wars episode.
Yes,
And
yeah.
that was my only problem with this.
I don't understand how the Star Wars episode is not number 1 out of all these. I will say that on this list.
Now that I'm looking at it, I want to change that 3.75. I want to go 4.
There you go. I'm glad I talked you into it and
Yeah.
pretended that was me.
Yeah, because now that I think about it, and I'm like, you know what, this was a really great episode, and then I was like, ah. Next one is Carol Burnett Burnett. Can't even talk. Season 5, episode 14.
Now, Andrew, have you ever watched any of the Carol Burnett show?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I would just want to recommend that. It's a really, if you don't know what it is, Carol Burnett was an incredible comedian, and she had her own skit show who would have guest stars come in on it, and it's very good.
Carol Burnett and Hee Haw were a regular watching at my
Yes.
Okay.
I saw a lot of Hee Haw as well.
I am very well versed in these two because a little bit of a spoiler when she played the janitor that came out, there was a little bit of a pop, but also like the Peter Griffin type thing. Like, yeah, that's her from the So yeah, but I do like the dance marathon, and she kind of like she yells at him because she feels like she's being made a fool of because she wants to do the show, but there's this dance marathon coming on going on, and then Kermit was asked her to come on so she could do her lonely asparagus bit.
Yes.
She's so happy for it, and the only way to be able to do that is the dance marathon has to end. So she starts busting out the disco beat, and she gets them all to pass out. But yeah, when the janitor lady came out and she was like, "Who's that old bat?" There was a little bit of a grin and a laugh in me because I know who that was.
Yeah. Also, polka is apparently a very violent dance. I wasn't aware of how violent that dance was. I love that when she comes out dressed for the lonely asparagus, that her and Kermit are almost indistinguishable from each other. They look so much alike. I really love that. And I also love that you never really actually get to see that sketch.
Yeah, they keep on promising, and then all of a sudden the show just ends.
That's pretty great. What'd you give this one?
I gave it a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it's a 4 out of 5. It's really good. But again, Star Wars, I would have put ahead of this one.
Yeah, I don't think anything's beating Star Wars. So
all right. Now, number 1, I'm going to let you introduce it. I had no idea who this was.
I had no idea who it was either. I had to look him up. I guess he was in White Christmas. He's
in a lot of movies. I looked him up too. And by the way, he's great in this. I just didn't know who he was.
Taking anything away from him. This is season 3, episode 16, and it's Danny Kaye. And I do like his opening of Scooter coming in, telling him once again, like 15 seconds. And Scooter's like, "Oh man," he's like, "Look at him, he's taking a nap. He's not like all the other guys that are frantic." And then all of a sudden he wakes him up and he's like, 15 seconds, Mr. Kane. He's like, "Oh my god." Oh, and he's like running around, he's trying to put on makeup, and then he runs into like the wardrobe closet, and then he knocks himself out again. And he's like, "Huh, I wonder if that's how he got a nap."
Yeah, that's great. I really like that. Statler and Waldorf not being in their box, that was pretty wild.
That was good, and I liked the jokes that they did. as well with that. But I also like it how they were, because they didn't want to be there because of the guest star.
Yeah.
I don't want to ruin it, but they didn't want to be there. And Danny Kaye went out and he saw Statler and Waldorf.
It's the classic thing of a character overhearing two other characters,
Yes.
and misunderstanding and thinking they're talking about him, and him being really saddened by what he heard.
Yeah, because they were not saying nice things from what he could tell.
Yeah. I really enjoyed the Danny Kaye and Miss Piggy duet because they were mad at each other the whole time.
Yes,
and I really liked that. That was very fun.
I liked it at the end when he was like, I gotta apologize. I don't ever remember you when you were skinny.
Yes. And the other highlight for me was a Swedish chef with his uncle. That was great.
He did that really good.
Yes.
I was like, okay, let's see. But he did that. I have really I've seen White Christmas maybe once or twice, and he's
right, yeah,
in there, but I have no recollection of this guy at all. It also probably doesn't help that he died in 87.
Right, yeah.
Oh.
But overall, I thought this was a very fun episode. Yeah. I think this is a good top 3 episode, but I would still put Star Wars ahead of it, personally.
Yeah, I gave it a 4.5 out of 5 because I thought it was pretty entertaining. And
I gave it a 4 out of 5. So, yeah.
I thought it was pretty entertaining and everything else. But that's...
which Muppet would you be?
How about which episode would you want to be on other than Star Wars?
Yeah, I think we got to take Star Wars out because that's the easy one.
Yeah. Like, what episode would you like to have been? And I'm going to take Linda Carter out of mine.
Yeah. I think either the Vincent Price or the Alice Cooper would be the most fun ones.
I was looking at Alice Cooper. I really thought next to Star Wars, even though I didn't rate it, I rated other ones 4.5 as well. I got to say that was my second favorite out of Star Wars.
And of course they did School's Out, so that's a great song.
Yeah.
I'll probably go Vincent Price out of those two, but I like both of them, and I'd be happy to be in either one of those.
And he's supposed to be... It's the same thing with Vincent Price, where he's supposed to be this kind of scary, creepy guy, but he's not. And so my first introduction to Alice Cooper was Wayne's World. So I think that's why I kind of went into this like, oh, this is going to be good, because Alice Cooper can be pretty down to earth, like what they showed him being when he's talking about how the real way to say Milwaukee and stuff like that, and how it's possibly a Goutwin, and
yeah,
it's like, does this guy know how to party or what? But yeah, I would definitely go Alice Cooper. And the Gilda Radner one, I don't know. It just seemed like I couldn't get into it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, the Gilda Radner one I didn't think was very strong. The Peter Sellers one was a little disappointing. I thought it could have been better.
Yeah.
But the highlights are obviously Linda Carter, the 2 Halloween ones, and Star Wars were for me the biggest highlights here of these 10.
Yeah, I would have to say so myself too.
So I think me and you would order these differently because our personal preferences.
Yeah, I'd probably go Star Wars, Alice Cooper, Linda Carter, Vincent Price. Then probably
I'm okay. I'm okay with that top 4 there.
Yeah, and
that sounds pretty good to me.
Carol Burnett would be in my top 5.
Yeah, yes, I'm cool with that. I think we'd have very similar ones. I might switch around Cooper and Vincent Price's from a personal preference, but that would still be the same ones I would have in my top 5 for sure.
And I'm not holding against Alice Cooper that he once was Jake the Snake's manager for WrestleMania. I'm sorry, man. I'm not going to do it.
We'll hold it against Jake the Snake, but not Alice Cooper.
No.
All right, so we did it. That was the top 10 according to IMDb of the Muppet Show. You can find all those on Disney Plus if you want to check those out. There's some very fun episodes there, but I do not recommend doing 10 in one day. It's a bit much.
No, I think next time just doing I would like to do 5 each.
I like that. Yeah.
We just
Yep.
do 5 each.
Yeah. I'm cool with that.
And go from there.
But what are we doing? We're going to keep this Jim Henson train rolling. What's next?
His like kind of another one of his big projects. I'm kind of upset that we didn't do Sesame Street, but this is probably his first kind of forte out of Muppets. It seemed like
Yeah.
after watching the documentary is The Dark Crystal, and I'm looking and it is streaming everywhere pretty much for free. So we won't have a problem with that. But
Good. So if you want to watch that before next week's episode, feel free and we'll give our review of it. I have not seen this movie in quite a while, so I'm looking forward to see what I think about it.
I love the Netflix series that they canceled after 1 season, and it pissed me off because it ended really good.
Did I watch that one? Which one's the one I watched? Was it that one?
The Netflix series is the prequel to The Dark Crystal. I think it
Oh,
came.
then that's not the one I watched. Then what's the one I'm thinking of? What was the other? Had Woodward Davis in it.
Willow?
Yeah, that's what I keep thinking of. I don't know why I get this confused.
Wait,
They're not even remotely the same.
Dark Crystal and Willow.
I don't know why. I really like Willow, and I thought that I was thinking because I like that Netflix series. Was it Netflix? No, it was Disney Plus, and they canceled it.
Yeah, no.
Despite it ending on a cliffhanger.
They had this kind of ended on a cliffhanger as well too. It was.
I have breaking news. This kind of goes with our sports show instead, but I have breaking news. I'm going to shock you with this. Kawhi Leonard is withdrawing from USA men's basketball.
Oh, geez.
Probably need some rest.
Yeah, definitely. Probably try to recruit another star to the Clippers. So
Needs one after old PG left.
But,
man. But thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Make sure you check out our social medias, the Facebook page and the Instagram. Andrew does a phenomenal job with those. And we've got a growing community there. So make sure you join those.
Yes. And with that being said, what may not be nostalgia for you may be nostalgia for some.
Waka Waka.